And I gotta say, not that everything you said wasn't good, but that piece about keeping awareness on that towel as I'm doing it, self-organizes a lot of where my arm and club feels.
Exactly. Again, I don't think you're gonna understand the spot that you need to put the club. Like if you wanna know what's the exact spot I need to put the club at the top of the swing,
come on, baby.
The secret is it's in relation to the target you're going at for that particular shot. So that spot is gonna change based on the shot that you have and the trajectory you're trying to shoot and the movement that you have. So that's what you're really looking for, is find that spot and make sure you're moving the handle in relation to that spot. Exactly.
I love that.
That's gonna help you find that kind of perfect position at the top.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt this awesome video that you guys are watching, but just wanted to let you know about CogornoGolf.com. Specifically, we're now offering new coaching options with increased swing frequency, meaning you can send me your swing up to once a week, keeping the prices super low, trying to give you guys everything you need to help take your game to the next level. Obviously, as a member, you get access to everything. Even if you're in lockdown this winter, you can't get outside, we could still put a practice plan together for you to swing at home. I would love to work with you. Again, you get access to the practice, the member library, all of the master classes, and that feedback. Would love to see you there. We'll put a link in the description down below to CogornoGolf.com. Love to see you there. Hey guys, Eric here. We're outside at Mel Reese Golf Club in Miami, Florida, and I'm here with Mr. Justin Bruton. Justin, thanks for coming out. Thanks for having us out here today.
My pleasure.
We're going to talk about some things golf swing, and in this first video, we're going to talk about developing the right side of the golf swing. And I know this is something I've seen some of Justin's videos. You might have seen some of his stuff on the Golf Channel. You did some stuff with Chris Como, right? On the swing Fix. Some Instagram stuff I've seen of Justin, and a lot of really, really awesome concepts about how to train the right side of the golf swing. So let's talk about that today.
Okay.
And let's assume that I come in and let's just kind of talk from scratch. I'm like, Justin, I want to know about how the trail side, the right side works. What are some feels I'm supposed to have? How do I train and develop that in? Let's talk trail side golf swing.
I love it. I think we got to break it down to square one.
Yeah.
So I think everybody needs to develop spatial awareness with not only the trail arm, but their trail arm connected to the club. So let's take the lead hand off, the left hand off for a minute. Let's really just kind of isolate just the trail arm. That helps us feel kind of spatially this 1 pound weight of the club a little bit easier, not having two hands connected.
Yeah.
And let's start to really just work. Let's break it down and work kind of step by step where we want to feel, what's the influence, how we create that feel, and then start to blend the lead hand back on, start to blend the left hand back on, get the body involved, and kind of work that way. But I think if you start small and work it out, it's always easier to retrain that motion. You can really retrain it the right way first, and then add energy and speed into it second.
All right, so Justin, that's beautiful. I love it, man. Why don't we flip-flop spots, and maybe we'll do some kind of demoing what that looks like, and then I'll come in and we'll rock and roll.
So I think the first step is this. As I said, isolate the trail arm only first. Let's pick out a secondary target second. So when I'm doing this, I'm gonna set up, I'm gonna get the club in my trail hand. I wanna feel though, when I grab the club in my trail hand, that I have some basic mobility. Like I can hinge it up and down, I can hinge it side to side, I can twist it without any kind of restriction, pain. That's almost gonna help me kind of organically figure out how does my trail hand need to be on this handle to control this club in space. So I think that's step one. Once you have that, let's connect that with our target. You know, we're going this direction, we're going at that 150 marker. I put a towel out here about 6, 8 feet in front of us. So when we set up, I almost want you to use that secondary target to help you coordinate not only your setup position where the club face is initially, but also when I start to move the club in space off the ball, my first step is I really want to move this handle in relation to that target. And this would be my first step, is really get this feeling of how I almost kind of push through my trail foot in the ground as I hinge the club up. And I like this as kind of that first checkpoint. The elbow hasn't separated too far from the side. I don't have a lot of extension as I'm going out. I'm letting the club kind of naturally hinge up a little bit. I'm not keeping it really close to my side and snapping it up. It's more this natural, gradual hinge. And right here, my trail wrist should be pretty extended. My trail forearm should almost kind of rotate it towards the sky a little bit. The butt of the club's gonna be kind of looking more at the golf ball line, somewhere down that. But I think this is a good starting point. I feel that trail foot going through the ground. I feel how I'm hinging this up. I feel I'm kind of loading that trail hand a little bit at this point. I think this is step one.
And one of the things I like about this, and you and I know from coaching, like there's not a lot of things that are super universal.
Sure.
Right? There's a lot of like individual stuff, people swing differently, but this is one of those things, it seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, that's a fairly universal good thing for all golfers to learn. Right?
To use your trail arm correctly.
Yeah.
And absolutely, because I think this is a trail side dominant sport. You know, I'm standing this direction and I'm going that direction. So really important, the trail side of my body understands its role in this, and it's a dominant role.
Yeah.
You know, that lead side is very important, it's supporting, but we really need to train this trail side first, this right side first from our right-handed golfers on how this works, and then that intent kind of takes shape on this athletic motion, helps push it that direction so much easier than trying to almost coordinate both sides. I think a lot of what we do organically, throwing the ball, we don't have the lead side attached. It's much easier to kind of push and feel this athletic motion because I'm really just highlighting that trail side. I'm basically kind of doing that more or less in the golf swing to start with. Let's really highlight this trail side, understand how it works first, and then bleed that lead side back on in a supportive
And I think it's funny too, like a lot of, I don't know how people are when they come in to see you, but I think there's this inherent fear almost of like using your trail arm and wrist and hands.
Yeah, because I think you've been told like it was too much right hand. That was too much right hand. You threw it too hard with your right hand. And again, you might have thought it might have been the timing of when you threw it. I think everybody throws with their trail arm. It's just a matter of when that happened. Everybody wants to throw the club down the line. It's just a matter of get the timing of when you throw it to be correct.
And so it's not a like, should you use your trail arm? It's a how and when thing, right?
Exactly.
Not an if.
It's a magnitude and direction.
Magnitude,
That's what we want to figure out, is the timing. How much I'm going to use it and when I'm going to use it, and how much that's going to kind of organize everything else in space.
Yeah. It's funny, like with the wrist part, like I try and get that message out a lot where it's like, it's not that you're using your hands too much. You're using them incorrectly.
Exactly.
Right?
You need
the timing,
your hands. Your hands are the only thing connected to the club.
Inevitable.
You're not going to be athletic without great hands.
Right.
You've got to have great hands. And I think that's one of the biggest keys is to have a body-driven swing really takes a great pair of hands.
I'll say that again. Say that one more time.
To have a body-driven swing takes a great pair of hands. If your hands
YouTube title.
don't know what to do with the club, the object that you're trying to manipulate, your body really doesn't have a chance to move. And this is what I see out of most amateur golfers. They don't know how to use their trail side. On the way down, the club pitches out or casts too soon. And now there's no way they can use their body. Now this club has come out, now all that inertia and force is working against their body. They could want to go this way, but they've got so much force going against them the opposite way. There's no chance.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's almost, if we can actually understand how to use the handle, we can understand how to use the body. It all starts to clean up. Again, they can do this all day long and understand, why can't I throw a ball and look athletic and I grab a golf club? It doesn't look that way. It's because you don't understand spatially how to use your trail hand like you do throwing a ball when you swing a club. Well, let's train it. We can train this. It's reps. It's pattern training. That's all it is.
100%, dude. Love that. And I've seen that over and over and over again. When someone learns how to use the arms and hands first to control the club face angle, control where the club is in space, etc., then you set yourself up, like grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, to be able to do all the good things you want to do with your body. Let's say we start, right? I come in and I get that first part correct, kind of working that first part. Is there Justin, like a progression of?
Yeah, I think the first step for us is we want to get trail hand, like I said. We worked on that takeaway, getting those checkpoints. The second step is I have what I call like a little base move, a little foundation move where you're just going to take it and you're going to stop about a 3/4 position. So I think this is step one. Well, we went to, we'll call this kind of a half swing, and maybe this is a 3/4 swing at this point. So I would get good, again, trail arm only first, hitting these checkpoints. Here, I really want to feel like more pressure is going through the trail foot. You see the handle's a little higher, the elbow's still a little bit in front of me, and probably most important at this position is I still have that secondary target. So I really want players to understand that this kind of 3/4 checkpoint, that they almost kind of in the corner of their eye can see that secondary target, and they have the handle in a space where they feel like, oh yeah, I can still move that handle in the club head in a way that's gonna almost get the club and the ball to move down that secondary target line. So I see a lot of players when they get to this point, it's almost the handle spatially gets in a position like, wow, how am I gonna get it back there? And then they start to make this connection between the handle, their body, their technique. So again, I don't want that target just for alignment's sakes, just so they understand where the target is. It's really spatially to understand where they and how they move the handle. Like where can the handle move to that's gonna allow me to move it back down that line.
It's so interesting. Let's flip. I wanna do some of these, Justin. It's funny, like one of the questions that I've always come in is like, you know, where do you look at the ball? Like when you're at setup, where you look at the ball? And my answer is always, I'm looking at the ball, but I'm thinking about the target. I always give the analogy like when I'm driving on the road. Like when I'm driving my car on the road, I'm looking at the road, but I'm not like looking at the road. I'm not like focused on it.
Absolutely.
And it's always because I always really think it's like I'm looking at the ball, but I'm really looking at the target. Like my mind is out here, not down here. Yeah, that's an interesting.
You're not consumed by that.
No, exactly. My eyes are on it, but I'm out here.
You see it, but you're looking somewhere
Yeah,
else.
exactly. So, love that, dude. So let's say I want to start to train this. Right, I'm in here. I want to train my right side. I'm a little lost as to like what I'm doing here, and so I'm going to start with this sort of phase one.
Phase one. Let's just get the takeaway first. And again, I want you to see, like, I want you to feel like the trail elbow stays a little bit close to your side. Yeah, you get the club to kind of hinge up.
I definitely have the.
Yeah, I think a lot of players, and the reason I don't like that for a lot of players is because the further the club head gets away from the body, the harder it is to start rotating it.
Yeah.
So I think players need a little bit of assistance. The closer the club is to my body, the easier to start to get this club to rotate up. It's like effectively the club feels lighter.
Okay.
Effectively it gets heavier as that mass of the head moves further away from my body. So again, it's harder to rotate it that way. So I think getting it started a little bit earlier, not snapping it, but getting it started.
Yeah, you're not going wildly this way. So
Exactly.
it's a
Nothing
middle ground.
crazy, dramatic, but get the club moving off the ground. Love it.
And I'm feeling a little push into my right foot as I'm
and that's
doing
going to
this.
really assist that. You're going to feel like how this going to the ground assists the club kind of hinging up and that connection between the two. Very similar, if you were striking, you're throwing a ball, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to plant into the ground through your trail foot. As you kind of wind up, you make that connection. That's the connection I'm trying to make here.
So some movement earlier.
Absolutely. Start to use the feet, use the ground.
So if I'm working here like this, I'm feeling a little push into my right.
Yep.
I'm bending the arm. You said the butt of the club, if this were like our ball target line.
More or less.
Yeah, it's somewhere on that, close to that. Trail wrist is starting to bend
Trail wrist
back.
extended, and you can see the club face at this point, pretty strong.
Yeah.
You know, in a good position at that point. Yeah, that would be weak at that point.
Right.
So again, you can really start to kind of isolate all these little mechanical issues when you go trail arm only first, because you have less things connected. It's so much easier to reorganize your body without having that lead arm attached. Again, the club only weighs a pound. It's not very heavy, so it's easier to have that spatial awareness of that pound object with only one hand connected.
Yeah.
Once we have an idea of where to put that club in space, how to organize it, then that makes it easier for our body to kind of reorganize underneath that, and ultimately our lead arm to get attached and assist that.
And I gotta say, not that everything you said wasn't good, but that piece about keeping awareness on that towel as I'm doing it, self-organizes a lot of where my arm and club feels.
Exactly. Again, I don't think you're gonna understand the spot that you need to put the club. Like if you wanna know what's the exact spot I need to put the club at the top of the swing,
come on, baby.
The secret is it's in relation to the target you're going at for that particular shot. So that spot is gonna change based on the shot that you have and the trajectory you're trying to shoot and the movement that you have. So that's what you're really looking for, is find that spot and make sure you're moving the handle in relation to that spot. Exactly.
I love that.
That's gonna help you find that kind of perfect position at the top.
It really does line up a lot of like, where should this thing be at?
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of players, when they start doing work and they go back to what they used to do or what they've been working on sometimes, and I say, okay, get there to the top, stop, pause. How are you gonna get back to that line? They're like, oh crap, yeah, this is gonna be hard. It's possible, but now we're making bigger reorganization. Most humans, they suck at reorganizing a club. It's a hard thing to do. Like reorganizing in transition, there's players that do it, but most of those players have been doing it since they're this tall. You know, that's almost a natural organic movement they learned as a kid, and they've just stuck with it. Learning that motion as an adult, when you haven't learned it and you don't have the mobility, maybe don't have the coordination, is really, really difficult. So we almost need to minimize how much reorganization they need to make. And that's where I think really understanding where I can put the handle in space, that's gonna give me the best chance to get the handle in the downswing to move the way I want to, which allows my body to move the way I want to, is really important. But you're not gonna find that spot without understanding where you're going. So again, connect the handle to the secondary target, isolate the trail arm first so you can slow the pattern down, really understand where you want to put the handle that allows you a chance for success, and then now let's leave the left hand back on and start to get to that same feeling and understand how the lead hand, again, needs to be more supportive, because initially for a lot of players, they're gonna feel once that lead hand goes back on, it starts to inhibit the motion a little bit. So again, that first step is when you get that lead hand back on, make sure that lead arm stays a little softer than you probably normally would have it. But again, You're still making the same connection with the trail handle, the trail arm, and that towel in front of you, that secondary target, that you're moving the handle in space in a way that makes it easier for you to move it back down that line.
So let's say I go through that process, just to kind of wrap this up here.
Yeah.
If I go through that and I'm working in here, got a feel for it here, I'm working a little bit longer, and then I'm gradually adding my lead hand on, but keeping it softer.
Yep.
I'm still feeling that through my trail arm and hand. And then obviously I'm going to start to hit, right?
Yeah, start hitting shots this way.
Yeah.
And I think we want to keep this smooth. You know, I think guys create a base move.
Yeah.
Very effortless, like you're shooting a free throw. You know, you're not really working hard to do this. And I think that's our first step. Let's create this base move, this 3/4 type motion at a slow speed. Let's dial in the mechanics that we want. Let's create the result we want consistently at that low speed, very soft. And then from there, we'll pump energy in that system. But I think you're never going to be able to shoot threes if you can't shoot free throws. So you got to kind of build that base first. Slow things down, soften them up, and learn how to make a good swing. There's no reason anybody can't physically make a good, smooth 3/4 swing. Like everybody kind of has the ability to do that. You know, you put more energy on that, things start to break down maybe a little bit. But let's develop this first and then extend it out from there.
I love it. Guys, I think a lot of really good concepts for us to put into practice there. You might have said the sentence of the year with, and I don't know if I got the verbiage correct, but it was like, you're not going to be able to use your body well if you don't learn your arms.
You can't have a body-driven swing without a great pair of hands.
You can't have a body-driven swing without a great pair of hands. That might be our tagline for like everything moving forward. Trail, side, and arm only. I like that sequencing of it. The idea or concept of having an object in front of you, a couple yards in front to your target, and aligning your body's awareness to that to self-organize a lot of movements is applicable not just to this, but literally I think every single part of the golf swing.
Absolutely.
And so I love that, dude. I think that's an awesome, awesome place to start. I appreciate these inputs, and I appreciate the talking about the arms and hands and being able to add the body stuff later. So guys, hopefully that helps you guys. You guys have any comments, as always, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Hey, if you want to link up with Justin, do some in-person lessons down here in Florida, do some online lessons, or touch base with him, we're going to include his info in the description down below. We'll put his website in there. You could touch base with Justin. Highly recommend it. You're going to be down in the Miami area or vacation down here, just want to get an online lesson, we'll put that down below. While you're down there, if you want to go ahead and smash that like button, click the subscribe, all of that helps us get our videos out to more people. We very much appreciate it. If you like this style video, we'll put a card on the screen for another similar YouTube style video. If you'd like to check out CogornoGolf.com, we'll put that logo on the screen as well. Thank you guys for watching.